Halo Infinite feels like a completely different game to me now, on two levels. One, I upgraded my PC for the first time in a few years, and I'm going to talk about how differently the game feels, but also, this year, Halo Infinite is not going in the direction I think a lot of fans had expected, not going in the direction that I had thought, especially when we were hitting such high points last October when they released Season 5. And we're going to just sort of discuss. I mean, the last few weeks have been sort of bumpy and rocky for Infinite. So first of all, my PC, old dog, built it back in late 2016. Originally, it was an i6700K build with a 1080 in it. Eventually upgraded to a 1080 Ti. And when Halo Wars 2 came out, Intel actually sent people like these little care packages, and I got a 7700K. So was able to bump the CPU up just a little bit. But if any of you are PC, familiar with that world, that CPU is old, and it has been bottlenecking me the last 3 years. Infinite especially is not a very well optimized game on the CPU side, and running it on a 7700K was a nightmare. I had to absolutely smash everything to the lowest settings possible, the resolution scaling tiny, to get it to run somewhat smooth and try and get 120 frames. In 4v4, it could do decently. In 8v8, 12v12 in squad battle, it was not great. So I finally bit the bullet, got a Ryzen 7 7800X3D, and got some new RAM, new motherboard. Kept the rest the same, gonna upgrade it over time, but man, that CPU bump has changed everything. The game doesn't look substantially different, I will say. I think visually Infinite looks nice in screenshots, but when you're playing it, something about the way the lighting just emulates in the world, it doesn't look amazing, but it feels like a completely different game. And it reminded me, like, there are people still playing Halo Infinite on the original Xbox One, the old school VCR, and I can just tell you, it is a very different experience. The more frames you're getting, the smoother those frames. No surprise, the game does feel better. But that leads into the Forge discussion, and I want to talk about this because it's been everywhere on the socials this last week. There's been a lot of information from Forgers sort of talking about the state of Forge and Halo Infinite. This spawned from the fact that the map Corrosion has been delayed. If you remember at the start of this content update, we were supposed to get this new map. It's built in Forge, and it was supposed to arrive, but we've got another week here of Gruntpocalypse, or whatever these three little, firefight playlists are at the start. Corrosion is built by Spirasoft, which is a company that 343 has been contracting, if I understand correctly, to build Forge maps for the game. I don't know the exact details, but that seems to align with basically what's been happening this year since they moved away from seasons, shifted to content updates. Forgers are carrying the game. Well, on Twitter, we learned a lot of Forgers just warning, hey, it can take a very, very long time to get a Forge map into matchmaking. And it's not an area if you're a user-generated creator, an aspiring map maker, an aspiring UGC person. Halo Infinite may not be the best place to put your time, especially when the Unreal Engine editor and there's a few other tools out there do allow the creators to not only get their content deployed quickly and easily, but it also compensates them. There is, programs that support these user-generated content creators, and Infinite doesn't have that. Also, it apparently takes 6+ months for a map from Forge to get into rotation on Halo Infinite. And all I can imagine, pure speculation here, is that the reason is they have to test the stability of the map. It sure feels like Halo Infinite is continually held together with chewing gum and duct tape, and you've still got that original Xbox One crowd playing the game. And I have to imagine if you've got a map, too many items, too much detail, you throw in certain scenarios, you still can crash on normal dev-made maps in this game. So my guess is part of the testing process is ensuring that it will work on the old Xbox One console and for everybody, from PC to the Series players. So I want to pose a question. Number one, if Forge is the path forward for Infinite, it sure seems like we're now in this new era of somewhat managed decline, where 343 is off working on whatever their new project is, the rumored Unreal Engine Halo, and Forge is carrying the game, and you've got some shop updates coming along with it. If that is the future, do you think a path for compensation for those forgers would be a good thing to pursue, because I do. I really think if you are contracting out outside studios to make Forge maps, why not just do a Forge bounty or find ways to compensate the best forgers? Do a Forge map competition and pay, those people. Or maybe, I don't know how it could work. I just recognize that other games and studios are giving a path for compensation for these people who really are putting a ton of time and work into making the game sustainable, continuing its lifespan. And then a second question here that I've seen pop up a bunch: should the support for legacy consoles be dropped? And by legacy, specifically the original Xbox One. I don't know how that would work though, because the Xbox One X isn't part of the Series family, but do you think they should drop support for the 2013 version? Maybe what if they had a set group of playlists that had a very tight curated set of maps, right? Maybe it's quick play and a couple others, but they can't necessarily play in all of the hoppers. Now, I kind of hate this idea because Infinite, we don't have a ton of people playing. And to lose any portion of the community at this point for small gains, I don't know. I think most of us are just wondering what's going on with Halo, myself included. Infinite was having player growth for the first time in forever when we had Season 4 and Season 5. You look at the numbers back for Season 5, we were doing great. And now, it's been crickets, right? We had the new network model a month and a half ago. The new cheating situation that emerged because of the network model and easy anti-cheat. So we're going on like a month or almost a month and a half now of nothing. No update, no word, no response to player feedback of the new networking update, which is very mixed. I read these comments, I read your feedback, and players are totally mixed on all of the network update. And then on the other side, the consumer consensus is that the game is a broken, cheating mess. Now, I've played a lot over the last 6 weeks, and I've only run into a handful of cheaters, but remember, perception matters so much. And I'm like solo queue ranked playlist. That's mainly all I play is solo queue ranked. And I'm in like Diamond 3, Diamond 4. So I'm not going to run into many cheaters. I know they're going to be fighting it out over in Onyx. But I do know the player perception, the consumer perception matters the most. And if you can't get ahead of that sort of perception, it does feel like you're 6 weeks into this and the numbers are curling off substantially. We do know, or we think, that Halo will be shown at the Xbox show happening in June. So like 2 months from now. There was a picture of Master Chief. It was tweeted out by Xbox, had the Halo logo, and M for mature, which we know is not Halo Infinite. We know it's not Halo MCC because that logo set wasn't used. So what could it be? And then I think the final talking point that we've seen floating around sort of the Halo space the last couple of weeks has just been how good the Fallout show did and the numbers it pushed towards those games. If you watched the channel this last week, we just finished like a whole week of Fallout. I've been binging the games again. The show was incredible. It got me so amped. Started playing Fallout 76. Started a new playthrough of New Vegas. I'm going to continue to play those games. It's been so much fun. But on the flip side, a lot of people have been pointing out the Halo show's performance and how it did not impact the game whatsoever. And it's hard because, man, it's tough to find the positive threads right now. And for me, I've been in this situation, you've been in this situation before. If you've played Halo Infinite since launch, it's not that fun when it's super duper negative everywhere. Even if that negativity is deserved, of course, because, I mean, come on. We were on the up and up, and now it does feel like cord has been pulled. Infinite is just straight up life support, and it's going to be a long time, I imagine, before we see something new, and that's a bummer. But I've also learned, as a person, games are meant to be like the escape. It's meant to be the place you recharge, the place you go when you have fun. And I just cannot enjoy that recharge if I'm continually frustrated and angry. Doesn't mean you don't talk about the truth. Doesn't mean you don't critique. But it also means, like, at some point you move on and you do other stuff. I still enjoy the gameplay in Halo Infinite. But I'm definitely scaling back how much I'm playing. I'm not as interested with the game when it's in this state, when it feels like the future is only more decline from here, especially when it was looking like they had landed all the pieces necessary for the cool comeback. They probably need all hands on deck for whatever the next thing is, and maybe the next new thing, that Unreal Engine Halo, we will be singing praise, so stoked that everybody put time and effort into it instead of this. But it is hard when we're all in the dark, and that's just the nature of games, media, culture, all of it, you know? So if you made it this far in the video, let me know what you think about this. I love asking you. If you enjoyed, if you watched till the end, throw an arbiter in the comments. You all are legends. I really appreciate you. I hope you have a great start to your week. I'll talk more about the new PC soon. Gonna keep binging Fallout. My gosh, it's so fun right now. Playing Cyberpunk as well. It's like playing something for the very first time. Like I've never seen RTX before, like ray trace stuff. It's wild. So I'm really excited for all these new opportunities and things here on the channel. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the week, and we'll see you again very soon.